"You're not generous enough," she said after bleeding me for $12,000, then cheated. So I cut her loose. Now she's drowning in debt while I'm building the life she thought she deserved. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I should have known something was wrong when I got the fraud alert on my phone during my morning stand-up meeting. Chase wanted to verify a $847 charge at some boutique I'd never heard of. I approved it, figuring Lisa had grabbed the wrong card again. We talked about this before. That evening, I pulled up the statement while Lisa was in the shower. Gucci, Nordstrom, some place called Ethereal Day Spa. $3,200 in 5 days. My stomach dropped. When she came out, hair wrapped in a towel, I was sitting at our kitchen table with my laptop open. "Lisa, can you explain these charges?" "Gucci, that new place downtown, this is $3 grand. She didn't even look at the screen. "Oh my God, are you seriously going to nickel and dime me? Sarah's boyfriend just bought her a car. That's not the point. We agreed you'd ask before using the card for anything over what? $50? I'm not a child, Jake. You make decent money, but you're not generous enough. Other guys actually want to spoil their girlfriends." I scrolled through the charges again. Dinner for 2 at restaurants I'd never been to. I pay the rent, utilities, groceries, your car insurance. Because you want to control everything. God, you sound like my father. She stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door. I sat there staring at $847 for a handbag. My entire grocery budget for 2 months. This wasn't the first time. Over the past 6 months, these conversations had become routine. Lisa would spend, I'd question it. She'd flip it around until somehow I was the problem. I started working overtime just to keep up with her expenses, thinking maybe she was right. Maybe I was being too controlling. But $3 grand in 5 days? While I was eating peanut butter sandwiches for lunch to save money. The pattern became clearer when I really looked at it. Lisa had started going out more, always with the girls or for networking events for her yoga instruction career that brought in maybe $200 a week. She'd come home late, smelling like expensive perfume I hadn't bought her, talking about all these successful people she was meeting. "You just don't understand the wellness industry," she'd say when I suggested she might want to pick up more classes. "It's about connections, relationships. You can't think small in this business." Meanwhile, I was thinking about how we'd afford a wedding, maybe a house someday. Apparently, I was thinking too small. The revelation came 2 weeks later at a coffee shop near our apartment. I was waiting in line when Lisa rushed past me toward the bathroom, phone pressed to her ear. She didn't see me. I couldn't help but overhear her voice through the thin door. "No, he has no idea?" "Yeah, I know you can't do weekdays because of work." "What do you mean complicated? You said you were getting divorced." "Richard, you promised we'd go to Cabo." "Richard?" I'd never heard that name before. That evening, I decided to ask directly. "Who's Richard?" Lisa was on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, barely looking up. "What?" "Oh, he's just a client. From the yoga studio. A client you're planning trips with." Now she looked at me. "Jake, you're being paranoid. This is exactly why I need space sometimes. You're suffocating me." "Space? Is that what you call it?" She set down her phone with a heavy sigh. "Look, if you were more, I don't know, ambitious? Exciting? Maybe I wouldn't need to find inspiration elsewhere." "Inspiration? Richard appreciates me. He sees my potential. He's not afraid to invest in someone he cares about." "Invest?" "He's helping me start my own wellness brand. Something you'd never understand because you think small." There it was. I'd heard enough. The next morning, Lisa announced she was staying at Sarah's for a while. "I need to figure out what I want," she said, pulling clothes from our shared dresser. "Okay," I said. She stopped, a pile of designer workout clothes in her arms. "That's it. Just okay? Don't you want to fight for us?" "What would be the point?" "See? This is the problem. You don't even care enough to try." "Richard would never." "You're right. I wouldn't." She stared at me for a long moment. "I might be able to work through this if you showed some effort. Maybe couples therapy." I was already mentally calculating how much it would cost to break our lease. "Take whatever you need from here. I'll be at work." That week, while Lisa was figuring out what she wanted at Sarah's place, I figured out what I needed to do. I removed her from every account, changed passwords, moved my money to a new bank entirely, documented every unauthorized charge for the past 6 months. It was over $12,000. I found a studio apartment downtown, closer to work, for $800 less than what we were paying. Arranged for movers. Put in my 2 weeks notice on our lease. Lisa had no idea. Saturday morning, I was loading boxes into my car when my phone buzzed. What the hell, Jake? My cards aren't working. I typed back. You're not on my accounts anymore. My phone immediately rang. I let it go to voicemail, then read her texts. This is financial abuse. You can't just cut me off. Check your banking app. The money you spent is documented there. I can't afford rent. I need those cards for my business. Your business with Richard? This is temporary. He's just waiting for his divorce to finalize. Good luck with that. Jake, please. I made a mistake. We can work through this. I turned off my phone and finished loading the car. My new place was perfect. Minimal furniture, clean lines, everything I actually needed and nothing I didn't. For the first time in years, I could breathe. Work became my focus. I picked up extra projects, learned new programming languages, networked with other developers. Without Lisa's constant spending, I could actually save money. Real money. 6 months later, I got promoted to senior developer with a $15,000 raise. I celebrated by opening an investment account and putting down payments on Lisa's debt into index funds instead. That's when the real messages started coming. Hey, how are you? Miss talking to you. Jake, I know I messed up. Richard turned out to be a liar. I see that now. You're really going to ignore me? After 3 years? That's so typical. I learned through mutual friends that Richard's wife had found out about his affair. Apparently, he'd never been planning to divorce. Lisa was just the latest in a long line of younger women he'd used. When his wife threatened legal action, Richard vanished from Lisa's life completely. Blocked her number, blocked her social media, pretended she'd never existed. The wellness brand had been nothing but a way for him to justify expensive dinners and weekend trips. Lisa was left with a maxed-out credit card debt, an apartment lease she couldn't afford, and a part-time yoga job that barely covered her car payment. I ran into Sarah at a bar near my office one evening. Jake, oh my God, you look great, she said, sliding onto the bar stool next to me. Lisa's been really struggling since, you know. Sorry to hear that. She's working at that call center now. Lost her apartment. Maybe you could just talk to her? She realizes she made a huge mistake. I'm sure she does. Come on, you guys were so good together. Everyone thought you'd get married. Did they? Sarah leaned closer, her voice dropping. She's learned her lesson. She just needs someone to believe in her again. I hope she finds that. Sarah looked confused, like she'd expected me to jump at the chance to rescue Lisa from the consequences of her own choices. So that's it. You're really done. I'm really done. 9 months after I'd moved out, I was leaving my office building when I heard my name being called. I turned around, and there was Lisa, practically running to catch up with me. Jake, wait. Please, just 5 minutes. How did you know where I work? She looked different. Thinner, tired, wearing clothes I recognized from 3 years ago. I still care about you. I know you care about me too, deep down. Do I? Look at me. Really look. You know what we had was real. I did look at her. Really looked. The desperation in her eyes. The way she was clutching her purse like it contained everything she owned. Which, from what Sarah had told me, it probably did. What did we have, Lisa? Love. We loved each other. You can't just turn that off. You're right. I couldn't turn it off. That's why I had to leave. Her face lit up. So you admit you still love me. I said I couldn't turn it off. Past tense. The light in her eyes dimmed. I'll pay you back. Every penny. I have a plan. This isn't about money. Then what? What do you want me to say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I believed her. She was sorry. Sorry she'd lost her meal ticket. Sorry Richard had turned out to be married. Sorry she was working at a call center instead of building her wellness empire. I believe you are. So we can try again? No. Why not? Because sorry doesn't change anything. You showed me who you are. I'm grateful for that. Grateful? You're grateful that I broke your heart. I'm grateful I found out before we got married. Before we had kids. Before I wasted more years. Years? They weren't wasted. We were happy. I looked at her one more time. 3 years of my life. $12,000 of my money. Countless hours of overtime to fund a lifestyle that was never meant to include me. You were expensive. There's a difference. I walked away. This time, she didn't follow. 6 months later, I got engaged to Emma, a financial advisor I'd met at a coffee shop. She pays for her own coffee. On our first date, She insisted we split the check. When I got promoted to team lead, she celebrated by cooking dinner at home and talking about our shared savings goals. Last week, Sarah texted me that Lisa had moved back in with her parents in Ohio. She'd filed for bankruptcy and was working at a grocery store. Sarah seemed to think this was somehow my fault, that I should feel bad about Lisa's situation. I don't feel bad. I don't feel angry, either. Mostly, I don't feel anything at all. Lisa taught me the difference between being generous and being used, between loving someone and funding their lifestyle, between building a future together and subsidizing someone else's delusions. For that education, $12,000 was actually a bargain. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.